Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe football show, and it's time for your live post-match reaction to Thomas Tuchel's first press conference as England manager. Look, the mad thing is these journos should have been at St. George's Park. They clearly haven't got the match passes because Tommy Tuchel's presser was exactly the same time. So go there. Go there. Why are you here? I've never heard them voices before. Get the fuck out of here. One question was enough, right? We didn't need to. And so I was like, oh, at the end, just ask you again about Tommy Tuchel. God's sake, man. I was that annoyed at it that I'm now Tuchel out. I'm officially Tuchel out. Oh, God. Congratulations to England and to Thomas, as Daniel said. I think it's a great appointment. It's a fantastic appointment. He's got an unreal record. Let's leave it at that. No more Tommy Tuchel chat on this one, all right? Big up to Tommy Tuchel. He's going to win England the World Cup. It's coming home, all right? Right, okay. Smash me a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. And, of course, hit that notification bell. We have news on Kouyate and a potential free agent and what's happening there. Also, Leeds, do we or don't we have injured players back? Well, we could well, yeah. We could well. Well, we do. Yeah. Spoiler alert, we do. All right. Solomon and James are back. Sound the alarm. We have options. Options are plenty. I am absolutely buzzing with that news. Dan James, Solomon, Nonto, Ramazani, Aronson. Poof, unreal. Unreal. The heavies are back, says Vic. Exactly. The heavies are back. So we'll get into all that. First and foremost, there's been some BS report from Build that Klopp is now overseeing Leeds United and Farke's in trouble and all this sort of shit. It is crazy to think that Red Bull will have someone running upshot over Leeds United. The club is owned by 49ers Enterprises, not by Red Bull. Yeah, crazy. And also they have a very good relationship, just to put that out there. They're basically mates. Do you know what I mean? We will address what was asked. So he was asked specifically about Klopp, and he said, look, I'm not directly. He's been announced for Red Bull. There are a few Red Bull teams. But we are Leeds United. This is what Farke said. For that, it's clear. He has a big impact for those clubs. But for us, not that much. That is for sure. Because we are Leeds United. We're not Red Bull Leeds. Yeah? It's done. These questions are just craziness. And he also says, none of our fans would allow us to copy something from elsewhere. We are a unique club and unique values and unique principles. Yeah. Our own philosophy and way of playing. This is definitely a topic. And this is, as far as I know, the 49ers are standing for the Leeds United way. They know how special this club is and don't want to copy anyone. Again, we are owned by 49ers Enterprises, not by Red Bull. He also went on to say, Jurgen and I are close. We are close. We're in touch. He's a first-class human being. We've spoken in the past. I can always call him when I need to. So there ain't no way, going to come in and be like, yo, we're now gonna replace you from his best mate. So he can now classify them calls as work related. He says sometimes when a manager is on an everyday job, you are reluctant to annoy him too much in his new role. He has more time for these calls. Our relationship won't change that much, so it is what it is. There we go. Boom. Now, big game on Friday. Difficult to prepare. Yeah? Difficult to prepare. Smash a like on the video. As has already been said, we only have 93 so far. So please do me a favor and smash a like on the video. Big game on Friday. Is it difficult to prepare? Obviously, we've had the international break. He said it's always tricky with so many players away. We've had 12 players away on international duty, but unfortunately, it's what you have to accept, folks, isn't it? At the end of the day, you have to accept this because that shows that we are a good club, and especially at this level, that we have so many internationals. It's a fact of life. All the top clubs have many internationals. He is frustrated about having to play Friday. This is Leeds United. Unfortunately, it's something we have to accept. Players arriving late today. Some will be just at 4 parts from tomorrow, some late last night, some early this morning. We know Brendan obviously played in the early hours. So if we were playing on Saturday, at least that gives you a session. But now tomorrow is going to be a recovery session before the game. So you go into the game without one proper session. It's disappointing and sad because it's a great game. And this also shows a softening in Daniel Farke's approach, because he's previously said if you can't make training, then you won't play if you don't have one session. But ultimately, we have no options in midfield now. So Tanaka and Rothwell have to play. So regardless that Tanaka played against Australia the other night, it is what it is. But Farke did reiterate, no complaints. We try to find some good solutions. Talking about the start overall as well, and I think a lot of people need to take consideration how this question was posed, that after Friday we'll have played like so many of the top 6 teams. So to think we are where we are in the league when all we've played is the best teams in the division, and I know some will come back to me and say, yeah, but we haven't got a win against some of them, but we've played some very good sides in this division and we're already in the top 6. Our run after Sheffield United, I'm expecting win. This is where Leeds United could potentially create that gap, which I've said for a while. And I know get shot down, and I know I say a lot of things, and it is what it is. I'm just positive, or try to be. Yeah. But Farke did say, look, I'm not into analysing now because I'm only looking at the next game. We did have a very tough start in terms of the fixture list. I spoke to Hal yesterday. Hal said all they've done, they haven't played any of the good sides yet. This will be their first test. And then they've got to play Middlesbrough and stuff. So they've had quite an easy start. Alternatively, Leeds have had a tough start. We've had a lot of fluctuation in the summer with many key players leaving. But overall, like you said, we've had a solid start and we've been competitive in every game. We've had perfect outcomes on the road, bar one, and that was Sunderland, and that was due to an error. And obviously, we nearly beat them. We dominated Portsmouth and Burnley as well in the results where we dropped points, which is true. We did. But, we didn't get the results. But on all, overall, it's a solid start, according to Farke, and I agree with that. Like Scott says, we'll have played all the top 6 as it stands, Joe. We're well on track. Played them all, and look where we are. So that's why I am calm, cool, collected, and know that Leeds United are going to cruise. So look, he did say it's annoying to have so many players injured, but we've got to praise the lads. Ampadu and Gruev, Voba still out for a bit longer, but we have a good path and we need to stay awake. He was asked then about the injuries. There was about 15 minutes devoted to Tuchel, but I'm not touching on that. Good news, Daniel, Mano, they have been in team training since last week. They are major parts of team training. Voba is also ahead of schedule and may be back before the next international break, which I think there's about 4 fixtures. Let me just have a quick look on my calendar. We have Blades Friday, Watford Wednesday, Bristol City Saturday, Plymouth the following Saturday, QPR the following Saturday after that, and then another international. So that's 1, 2. Hang on. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, 4, 5. So 5 games. So that could mean that Volba could be back within 5 games. Within 4, if he may be 4. Within 4. He may be back then within 4 games, because if he's going to be back potentially before the international break, that's 5. So we might get him on the 4th game or even before that, which is massive. which is massive news as well. I know we don't like Voba, but the current state of the squad, we need Voba. We do. We need options there. So he's ahead of schedule. But the biggest news coming out, of course, is Manor Solomon and Daniel James are fit, ready, raring to go. And I could see one of them potentially starting, and I'll get to why a little bit later on. But he said, look, we've trained with 14 or 15 players today. We need the rest of them to come back, but no new injury news. We need to assess them after their travel and their time zones, which will be your Brendans and stuff like that, which we will touch on. But for me, it's very good news that them two are back. Massive. James, and listen, and we've missed Daniel James, and I've been a massive critic of him, and you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And I now realise, you know what? I don't give James nowhere near enough the credit he deserves, and we've massively missed him. And yeah, you know, I'll have some wild takes at times, but when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. So it is what it is. We have missed him. So to have him and Solomon back as well, Ramazani cooking, Nonso cooking, Aronson. But this is where my point is on where we might see one of them start. He alluded to Aronson's late arrival, training, Aronson might not start. Of course, he's amazing fitness, but Aronson might not start, which means we might see a switch. We might see Nonto go central in the 10 and then James come out on the right, potentially. Or maybe even Solomon in the 10, which he's played for before on a number of occasions. So, yeah, that could be a change, and he alluded to that a little bit later on, which we'll touch on. He was then asked about Ilian Melier. It's Bledley said Aronson won't get 90 minutes. He said that towards the end, didn't he? He said, I don't know if we'll start with him or we'll bring him on, but we'll manage his minutes. He basically alluded that we could see a change there. So you might see probably maybe Nonto go central and then boom, boom, boom. You know? So it is what it is. So Melier, last week we spoke. So he was asked about Melier, obviously, because we know he had that massive error. He says last week we spoke. He's experienced at this level with many games. He knows he has played a good season so far with many clean sheets. I've been tested as much. Once in a lifetime situation, which I do agree with. That probably won't happen again. He does say it happens. He was the most disappointed player in the dressing rooms. I've heard like people getting upset and stuff like that. Or he got upset or whatever, which you would imagine. But listen, Melier's on a short leash, I believe. If he was to make another catastrophic error, I think he would be dropped. But you've got to back him. It's one error. Bam. Play him. Let's see how he gets on. I just hope he needs to make a save and make a save early. But yeah, spoken about Melier, he's got strong. Right, okay. Talk about Kouyate now. He was asked specifically about Kouyate. There wasn't no questions early doors, so I started to think, have they been briefed on it? But no, we got a question. He said, look, and he spoke to Adam. He said, I've spoke about this situation before. I never confirm names, and I will not speak about a player not under contract to us or that are free agents. Generally, it's a new situation. We are short in numbers. Injuries in midfield left us looking at the free agents and confirm we've had a deeper look, and we've had many guests in the last days here. Most important, not to mention names, but to look at profiles. In holding midfield, we are short. Ethan was the first choice. Ilya would have been backup. We are thin at centre-back too. We have a player that can play both positions in Kouyate. He said we need to add experience, and they need to accept when our key men come back, they are not first choices. This could be the reason as to why it's been broken down, potentially. I know there was talk of a failed medical and that. I don't agree with that. They have to accept they are backup solutions. They should want to help our young players. We need someone who has that right mentality. This is what we are searching for. And we are carefully optimistic we will add someone in the next days or weeks. Now, he says weeks later on, but we did get some further clarity later on in the presser where he said, no, it won't be weeks, as in, we won't be in November. He said, if we haven't added anyone by November, then we won't get anyone. So something will happen and happen soon. If it's him, who knows? There's people in the chat I've not seen it about German. I don't know who that is, but yeah, look, it could be that Kouyate wouldn't be happy being a backup if and when they come back. Maybe. We'll jump ahead because he was asked about Baldock. I've said it on many a times now. Our thoughts are with him. We have to respect that. They'll have an added impetus to want to get a result for George, you would imagine. And rest in peace and thoughts and prayers go to George and his family. He was asked about Sheffield United. Again, it spoke about them defensively, which I've spoken about with Hal, which I'll speak about in my preview on Friday. And we'll do the fan preview tomorrow night, 10 o'clock after White Rose Rivals, me and JT, to get your thoughts on it. But they have the lowest XG against in the league. They don't concede a lot. They are tricky to break down, which is what he said, it'll be difficult for us, and we have to be fully aware of their strengths. We need a pretty complex performance and to be at our best. It will be a difficult game. It'll arguably be our most difficult game or most difficult team we will play, especially in midfield. I worry about the midfield. Back to the free agent stuff. When do you decide a free agent is not worth doing? This is what we were just alluding to just a second ago. He said it won't last more weeks. It will not be the end of November. It will be quickly, if at all. It will need to be quickly, if at all. Perhaps candidates are already working on their fitness level behind closed doors. We do our homework. We'll just be there when a deal makes sense. Okay. We spoke about October challenges, unique case for us. Don't have to be too strict. Due to the injuries, we have to be professional and check it. We don't need just a good footballer. We need a player who is convinced of the challenge and the role here. Again, it could be the fact that he's not willing to be a backup if and when Ampadu comes back. So he says it has to be a sensitive deal. We cannot spend a fortune on such a deal. A few boxes have to be ticked. Not too far from a decision. So we're getting close. But we want to lead this club in a sustainable way. In the next 2 weeks, we will know or not at all. So before the 1st of November. So there's two things, right? Either the player or players are not happy being a backup when Ethan comes back. Or secondly, they're too expensive and the 49ers are not willing to push the boat out. That's what I got from that. But again, there's no concrete information, really. It was speaking in tongues. Parcel tongue. You can't really gauge from it because he doesn't give much away. I'd have loved him to have said, yeah, we had Kouyate in the door, but now he's not on. Just something like, but nothing. He was then asked about protecting Tanaka and Rothwell because they're our only midfield options. He did touch on there about young players as well, which I didn't make a note of, but he did touch on that about them having to be ready to play in front of 30,000 and that. And I just wondered if that was a nod to Charlie Crew potentially. But it was asked then about protecting Tanaka and Rothwell. It's a big thing, isn't it? And he said, we work a lot on fitness level and try to be smart in recovery and nutrition and treatment and good habits. Rothwell should be fine because he's not played too many games over 90 minutes in the last 3 years. So you'd imagine he's good. But he said, Tanaka, I can't do much about because he plays for Japan and there's a lot of travelling. He played against Australia, I think Tuesday, was it? Or Monday night. But we're going to try supporting the best possible way. It's never a guarantee. And we must also remember you can get injured in training. He said, I have to make sure he's 100% competitive in games. You can't be careful because we want the player to play aggressive and leave his all on the pitch. If there's an injury, we have to find a solution, but we are due some luck. Hopefully Voba's back. He mentioned Strauch and all this sort of stuff, and hopefully we get a number 6. Give Farker what he needs, right? He was then asked about international minutes. I think Beran had mentioned how Pulisic was allowed to go home early because of Lord, AC Milan, etc. Why wasn't Aronson afforded that? Maybe Farker didn't even know that was an option, but he did say, look, I would have wished that Aronson didn't play 90 minutes, but we have to adapt. It's his first international break for the new manager, Pochettino. It's an important game. They needed to win. It's also a sign of trust. Brendan, to be fair, was always on the bench under Bert Haller, so he probably needs it. It'll do great for his confidence. Brendan is a confidence player. He wanted him to play the full 93 minutes, so it is what it is. And I think Brendan will do well playing under Pochettino. As Farker said, selfishly, I wish he wouldn't have, but it is what it is. And I think we'd have wished that. And listen, friendly or not, players want to play for their country. So It is what it is. He did say that Brendan is top fitness level. That's something that we know. He'll run all day. He's a bit like Dan James in that respect. But this is where he alluded to the fact, he says, how long can he play? We hope he can be involved on Friday, but how long? We'll make a late decision in these terms once he's back and we've assessed him. So it could well be that he doesn't start with Brendan, or he brings him off earlier. We'll have to wait and see. There could be a case now that Solomon and James are back that he doesn't start with him, because you can play Nonto in there and Solomon, and you can just, So no accusations. He says every coach wants to be successful. More credit to our work that he has that role within the side. It says a lot about his development, which is fair enough. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there in the 10 position if indeed he is deemed, not fit enough or not ready. He was then asked about suspensions, because we've got like Road on Firpo, a lot of players 1 card away. He says maybe I'll have a chat with the referee to say Rodon's first challenges or isn't always a yellow card. But it's more of an issue if a player's out for several months, like Ampadu and Gruev. Ban or suspension due to yellow cards, just get on with it. And look, it's not that big of a deal, is it? It is what it is. It happens. I don't want players going into matches personally going, oh God, I better not put this challenge in. If you're already on a yellow, don't get a red. But if someone's bursting through, make the fucking challenge. Take the yellow. It is what it is. You can't go in with a mentality of, I better not make this challenge because of X, Y, Z. You cannot. And, the elite players do not, those at the top. We all remember Paul Gascoigne, for example, Italia 90, Roy Keane against Juve when he would have missed the Champions League final. He put in arguably one of his best performances. So you can't expect players, or I wouldn't want them anyway, going in with that in their mind. Oh, I might get suspended. Just fucking play your normal game. That's my opinion on it all. But yeah, that was it. That was it. But the big call out is Leeds United are confident, quietly optimistic that we'll get a number 6. Is it Kouyate? I'm not sure. We'll have to wait and see. Big up to Bazzi. You're giving me some stick on the. Was that not you? There was a few people giving me stick, but I just blocked them. Someone called me the Just Walk football show because I blocked him. Listen, let me just clarify as well. You are blocked for a reason, not because you have a difference of opinion, because that's just cap, and everyone knows it's BS, because we always chat, we always have difference of opinions. You are blocked if you have been abusive, and you can sit there and say, I've not, yeah, you can't handle it. You will have, so therefore you've been blocked. I don't just block for the sake of it, because it makes no sense for me to do that. Same on Twitter. Get personal, be abusive, you're going to get blocked. It's as simple as that. And it's not my fault, so don't come like sending me emails and going into DMs on different social media saying, why have you blocked me? You've been blocked. You've been a dick. It is what it is. Who's this German on trial, Joe? I don't know, bro. I wasn't aware until I came on here and seen it in the comments, to be honest. But the big call outs for us today are obviously James and Solomon are back. That was the main thing for me. That they were back. I would have liked us to have had some more news on the 6, but we haven't got it. Big up to Barney with the super chat. He says, sup, big guy. Unfortunately, Bren played as much as he did because the USA has about 20 key injuries, not so much preference. Our players are made of biscuits. There you go. Thanks for the super chat. Joe mentioned it, right? Okay, I don't know because I've not seen the news on it. I'll check Joe's show out. Big up to Joe. Maybe it's Kramer. I'm not too sure. It was Luke. You're telling me. It is Kramer, apparently. Oh, okay. Maybe. Yeah, exactly, Evie. It's mad. And yeah, you get blocked for valid reason. It is what it is. But it's all love. Listen, don't take it personally. But yeah, to call me walks, it's a bit of a mad thing, isn't it? I don't know about that. Like, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. We're so close to reaching 32k. Let's make that happen. If you haven't already liked the video for me, you know it makes sense. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot now. I'm gonna go pick up my little boy. We're gonna go watch Transformers 1 at the cinema. Hopefully it's a better experience than Joker 2. I didn't take him, obviously, but when I went to watch Joker 2, it was absolutely terrible. So yeah, watch this space. Thanks always for watching. There'll be tomorrow. What do we have on tomorrow? Let's have a look. Tomorrow we have White Rose Rivals, and at 10 o'clock we'll have your fan phone in. We haven't had one for a while, so join us for that. I'll then have a preview pre-recorded for Friday morning, and then obviously the game, and then final word Saturday night. So yeah, keep it locked at the Just Joe Football Show. It's great that the international break is done. Like when we start to get pre-match presses, this is when we know, right? Okay, it's game time. Let's go. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you for the subscribers. Thank you for the love as always. And yeah, listen, enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow, unless something crazy happens on the free agent, and I'll come this evening when my little boy's asleep, but we'll see. Anyway, peace out now. Enjoy the rest of your day. Love to you all. Bye-bye. Leeds.